Hello and welcome to the Coliseum pregame show on the Coliseum Sports Network. I'm Raymond Sims, and it's time to bring you the 4-8 matchup out of the West. It's the Houston Astros and the San Francisco Giants. Today's pitching matchup pits Scott Feldman against Tim Hudson. Here's a look at the lineup for the visiting Astros. Leading off will be the second baseman, Jose Altuve. Batting second will be the right fielder, Robbie Grossman. Batting third will be the left fielder, Chris Carter. Batting fourth will be the catcher, Jason Castro. Batting fifth will be the first baseman, John Singleton rather. Batting sixth will be the third baseman, Matt Dominguez. Batting seventh will be the center fielder, Jake Marisnick. Batting eighth will be the shortstop, Gregorio Petit. And batting ninth will be the pitcher, Scott Feldman. And for the homestanding Giants, leading off will be the right fielder, Hunter Pence. Batting second will be the second baseman, Joe Panik. Batting third will be the catcher, Buster Posey. Batting fourth will be the third baseman, Pablo Sandoval. Batting fifth will be the left fielder, Michael Morse. Batting sixth will be the first baseman, Brandon Belt. Batting seventh will be the center fielder, Gregor Blanco. Batting eighth will be the shortstop, Brandon Crawford. And batting ninth will be the starting pitcher, Tim Hudson. The winner will go on to face the winner of Twins versus Angels. The loser will take on the San Diego Padres in the next round, as the Friars were able to knock off the Dodgers in front of a sellout crowd at Chavez Ravine. So don't go too far. First pitch is coming up shortly on the Coliseum Sports Network. Meeting by the Bay. Welcome to San Francisco for this winner's bracket matchup between the number 8 seed San Francisco Giants. So glad that you could join me today. I'm Raymond Sims here to call the balls and strikes from beautiful San Francisco, right up against the Bay. When we last saw the Giants, Mike Morse hit a ball into McCovey Cove to walk off against the Mariners. We'll see if they can do that again. But first, it's the Astros' turn to bat, as they are the visitors. And here's a look at the lineup presented by MLB 14 The Show. Jose Altuve, Robbie Grossman, and Chris Carter are all due up in this inning. And they will be taking on the righty Tim Hudson. Tim Hudson is 8-8 on the year with a 2.74 ERA in 2014, about on par for what he had back in 2013, as you can see on the graphic. And so here is Jose Altuve about to lead things off for Houston. Kick in delivery from Hudson and a sinker in there for ball one, and that's how we'll get underway from San Francisco. Very interesting jersey choices from both teams today. Houston wearing their alternate road uniforms, which both showcase their navy blue color scheme, as well as pay homage to the old Tequila Sunrise style of uniforms that they used to wear. I will admit, when it first came out, it seemed a lot like a practice jersey to me, but it's looking a lot more stylish these days, if I do say so myself. The 1-1, a splitter in the dirt, 2 balls, 1 strike here to Jose Altuve. The Astros wanted to wear their alternate orange uniforms, but they couldn't because the Giants wanted to wear their alternate orange uniforms, which you see as Hudson brings the 2-1. Strike on the inner half of the plate. Jose Altuve, 158 hits on the year. He's creeping in on the 200 hit club. which for the Astros, there's only one man there so far. That's Craig Biggio. This one fouled off as well. Of course, he won't get any help here in the tournament to get that record, as tournament stats do not count against regular season stats. This one hit weakly to Crawford, and the play made it first for out number 1. That's how we're going to get started here in San Fran. And as a matter of fact, let's take a look at that defensive lineup. That defensive lineup was brought to you by Majestic. So here's the right fielder, Robbie Grossman. Last time we saw these Astros, they were across the bay in Oakland, stunning the Athletics, who've since been eliminated. They were stunned twice. Sinker, outer half for strike 1. Grossman batted in the 6th spot. Finished the day 1 for 4 with an RBI double. Castro was in the 2 spot, and he was even in the regular season in the 2 spot doing very well, but since then Porter's decided to move him. In the meantime, Grossman gets on. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a single, but it does mean the first base runner for the Astros here against the Giants. Take a look at it on replay. Lines past the glove of Sandoval. Crawford is able to stop the momentum of the ball, but can't seem to pick it up. That allows Grossman to get on. So here's the left fielder, Chris Carter, and this is the one your parents told you to worry about. 24 home runs, leading the team. 57 RBIs. 119 strikeouts, though, so it could go either way here, as Tim Hudson's looking for out number 2. Grossman on first, 1 out. Just getting started here in San Francisco, top of the first. And going for it is Grossman. He'll slide in just in time. Stolen base early on here for the Astros. So Robbie Grossman is now in scoring position, and we'll show you how here. Got a good jump on Hudson off of that stretch delivery. And you can bless Posey for trying, but just couldn't get it to second in time. So 1 on, 1 out, and Carter will foul off the 1-1. Chris Carter went 1 for 4 against his former team, the Athletics, and he will line this one down the third base side. That should be enough to bring home Grossman, who slides in at the plate. He's safe. RBI single for Chris Carter. And the Astros are on the board, upset-minded. So Grossman doing a good job of getting into scoring position, made the liner down third base good enough for him to come home. He stayed back at first, and that happened. He probably would have been at second now, as this one smacked, flies out to right for out number 2. So we'll give you the vitals on Castro later, as we bring up the first baseman, John Singleton. I already made the joke in the Oakland game about confusing him with the film director of the classic films of the 90s, so I won't bring that back up. But I will bring up how excited the Astros organization is about John Singleton. 10 home runs, 32 RBIs. He's batting 187, but he's been in and out of the lineup due to injury. Back on the active roster now, hoping to make a difference. He batted 4th against Oakland and is able to smack this one into left field down the line. So another screamer down the third base side. That'll advance Carter to second, and that will put Singleton on with 2 outs. So the Giants defense looking a little kerfuffled here. Trying to figure out how to get out of the inning. Hudson struggling early on. In the meantime, here's the third baseman, Matt Dominguez. He can flash the leather at third, but we'll see what he'll do up at the plate. First pitch to Dominguez, slider outside for ball 1. Tim Hudson, 39 years old, born in Columbus, Georgia, went to high school across the river in Phoenix City, Alabama. War Eagle for him. He went to school for a while there at Auburn. Was drafted in '97 by the Athletics across the bay and debuted in '99. Very integral part, 2-time All-Star for those early Moneyball Athletics from '99 to 2004. Then he spent 2005 to 2013 with the Braves, getting an All-Star appearance out of that. Swing and a miss here by Dominguez. And now he's spending 2014 as a Giant after signing as a free agent with them in November. And he was an All-Star this year for his troubles. Not All-Star caliber inning here. He's given up a run, and he has 2 on base, but he has 2 outs, and strike 2 is fouled off by Dominguez. Hudson trying to get out of the half inning with minimal damage. Here's the 1-2 again. Swing and a miss. And what better way for the 2014 All-Star to end the inning but with a swinging strikeout. So 1 run comes in for the Astros, but we'll see how the Giants will respond as they take their first swings up at the plate. Welcome back to San Francisco. Here's a look at Bruce Bochy, and here's a look at Bruce Bochy's lineup presented by MLB 14 The Show. It's Pence, it's Panic, and it's Posey, all due up. And they will be taking on Scott Feldman. His last name does not start with a P, but Scott Feldman, former Oriole, came over in a midseason trade in 2013. This year he's 5-8 with a 4.13 ERA. Here's a look at the defensive lineup behind him. One notable change between this game and the Oakland game a while back is that Kike Hernandez, who's now in Miami, is replaced by Jake Marisnick, who came over from Miami. That was a trade deadline deal. So here's Hunter Pence to start things off here for the Giants in the bottom of the first. First pitch from Feldman. Pence swings on it, deflects off of Feldman. He should be able to pick it up and still make the out. So out number 1 on the 1-3 put out. Feldman hit on the knee there. Talking it over with Castro. He's going to walk it off. And it looks like he'll be fine. So thank goodness for that. Here's Joe Panic. I wonder if I started calling him Cool Joe Panic, if that would catch on. He'll hit this one right to first, and Singleton able to make the out unassisted. So the law firm of Pence, Panic, and Posey, 2 batters in, has not gotten anything going. But we'll see what happens here against the number 3 hitter, the catcher, Buster Posey. Cutter up there, 1 ball, no strikes. Posey has been one of the few constant Giants roster that has seen a lot of injuries and yet has performed so well. Posey puts this one in play. Rounded up at short, and Petit able to make the outs. 3 up, 3 down for Scott Feldman. So could it be turning into one of those days for Scott Feldman? We'll find out, but we'll head to the top of the second. Astros up to bat, up 1-0. Welcome back to San Francisco. Jake Marisnick, the former Marlin, coming up to the plate. As I alluded to before when we were talking about the defensive lineups, he comes over from Miami. He was traded by the Marlins with Francis Martes, Colin Moran, and a 2015 compensation draft pick to Houston for Austin Waits, Jared Cozart, and Kike Hernandez. Hernandez was a very exciting prospect when he first came up through the Astros system. He made some pretty fun plays in Houston, but the Astros decide to go in a different direction. And they pick up Marisnick. Fouls this one off. A young man in his own right, 23-year-old. And a couple of other minor leaguers from the Marlins system. So we'll see what that'll turn into for the Astros. Also of note, they do get a compensation draft pick, so that could also be something good down the line as well as the Astros look to rebuild. Well, it was once a competitive franchise. They've been very competitive in this tournament. That much is for sure. Houston getting the extra innings win against Oakland. Seems like ages ago, but it was back on the first day of the tournament. Second day of the tournament, rather, July 24th. That game was supposed to be on July 23rd, but it was moved. So it's been quite a while. The Astros have had to play the waiting game before they've come back out on the field. They've been waiting in the winner's bracket for everybody else. Marisnick out on the slider, looking. That's a backwards K to kick off the inning. So Tim Hudson ends the first inning with a strikeout swinging by Matt Dominguez, and then Jake Marisnick comes up to start off the second inning and goes down looking. So here's a look at the shortstop, Gregorio Petit. First pitch, a slider to him inside. Gregorio Petit, a former Athletic himself, spent 2008 and 2009 with the A's. Then he went down into the Astros organization. I'll tell you more about him the next time he comes up, because now he's been retired 1-3 for out number 2. So here is the pitcher, Scott Feldman. First pitch, pitcher to pitcher, is a four-seamer at the belt for strike one. Scott Feldman, born in Hawaii, but he grew up here in the San Francisco area. Went to high school in Burlingame and went to college at the College of San Mateo. A swing and a miss on the sinker. So it's safe to say he's watched his share of Giants games over the course of his career. Though he has never played here in the Bay Area or never worn the uniform of a Bay Area team. Fouls this one off. He's 31 years old. Been playing professionally since 2003 when he was drafted by the Rangers. Been in the majors since 2005, so who knows what will happen as he gets older down the line. But for now, he's a veteran presence on an Astros lineup, at the mound at least. He strikes out to Hudson here. 2 strikeouts, and there's a look at McCovey Cove. We'll see if anything's going to drop in the water. But for now, the Astros are up 1-0. Here's the Panda, Pablo Sandoval. And we're going to give him a few minutes here to get his at-bat routine together. Always enjoyable to watch. First pitch, a cutter in there for ball one. With the theatrics of his walk-up, it's not just show. He's delivered once he's done with that walk-up and he steps up to the plate. The sinker, that one barely got to the plate before it hit the dirt. 2 balls, no strikes. 283 batting average, 14 homers, 55 RBIs. That includes 20 doubles and 2 triples. So he can most certainly put bat to ball when he's done kicking his bat. Curveball inside for strike 1, inner half of the plate. Two balls and 1 strike here to Pablo Sandoval. Kick and delivery from Feldman. That one, a sinker at the belt. And Sandoval does not go for it. Bit of a shock there. But we'll see if he can come back around. Here's the 2-2. Outside, runs the count full on the splitter. There's a look at who's on deck. Mike Morse. We'll talk about him. There's some good things to talk about from Morse. And this one's hit to right. And the play made at second. So out number 1 to start off the bottom of the second. And here's Mike Morse coming up to the plate. Mike Morse hit the walk-off home run that put the Giants in this winner's bracket. Gave them the 3-1 win in extras over the Seattle Mariners. In what was otherwise a pitcher's duel. Iwakuma and Bumgarner were dealing, and then in came the bullpens, and they were doing well themselves, and then Mike Morse just came up and he broke the game open and gave the Giants the win here at home. See what he can do with the bat today. Cutter outside. He's been another one of the steady presence. He's tied for third on the team in most games played, tied with Brandon Crawford at 111. And 273, 15 home runs, 52 RBIs. Swings and misses on the splitter. Coming into that game against Seattle, he was leading the team in home runs, but Pence decided to get a couple more, so now they're tied for the team lead. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Mike Morse. 1 out, bases empty. Pitch from Feldman. Morse waited for it, and it broke too hard for him to make contact. He fouls it off. Swing and a miss. Cutter sends Morse back to the dugout for out number 2. We'll take a look at the show track. First pitch was there in the zone. Would have been a good one to hit, but Morse missed it. Number 3 in the same spot. Number 4 low. And number 5 just outside ties him up. So out number 2. Here's Brandon Belt making his first appearance in the tournament. The Giants hoarding baseball players named Brandon. As Belt pops this one high up in the air, I'll have to tell you more about it next time a Brandon comes up. As the out is made it short by Petit. 3 up, 3 down. 1-0, heading to the top of the third. Giants can't get any hits. Feldman struck out swinging to end the second, so we'll restart the lineup, and here is the all-star Jose Altuve. First pitch from Hudson. This one put in play. Collected by Panic. No, it's not. It's deflected off his glove, and Altuve's so darn fast, he gets on with what will probably be a base hit. One of those welcome to the league New York. And here's Robbie Grossman. Gonna hope he can advance Altuve if Altuve doesn't do it himself. None out. 1 on. And the four-seamer high and inside for ball one. The Astros back at AT&T Park for the first time since July 15th, 2012. This, of course, used to be a very common National League matchup back when the Astros were in the NL Central. Splitter in there for a strike. However, a little realignment moved the Astros over to the American League West, and these two teams have not seen each other in regular season play ever since. Here's the 1-1 to Grossman. He'll take it. Grossman fouls that one back. Altuve, 45 stolen bases in regular season play coming into this game. That is 6 behind the league leader, D. Gordon, of the Dodgers. So the only other person that would be more likely to steal a base would be D. Gordon. Unfortunately, the Dodgers played themselves out of the tournament, and D. Gordon couldn't find his bat, so he couldn't get on base, so he couldn't cause the problems that he usually does when he gets on. Full count, no outs. Altuve on first, and Chris Carter's on deck. Robbie Grossman going to look to keep the inning going. Here's the pitch. This one smacked to short. Could be a double play. Crawford to panic to Belt. So that is 6-4-3. Brandon to Joe to Brandon. And that erases any Astros on base, which means Chris Carter is going to need to put something in play to keep the inning alive. Slider over the heart of the plate for strike one. Chris Carter was able to bring in the lone run of the game so far, back in the top of the first. But since then, it seems that Tim Hudson, the veteran, has calmed down. Sometimes it does take a little while to get things going. And this one hit weakly, it's fair, so the 2-3 putout will end the inning as Carter cannot keep it alive. Another 3-up, 3-down inning. Looks like Hudson's got his groove back. We'll see if the Giants can get their bats going in the bottom of the third. Welcome back to San Francisco. Here's Gregor Blanco, the center fielder, batting in the 7th spot. You usually find him in the 2 spot, where he had been for a lot of the but he was having trouble. He's been in a slump over the mid part of the season, so he's found his way down in the 7th spot. Breach Bochy still finds him a valued member of the but he's down in the 7th spot until he can get his bat back. He'll take a sinker, 2 balls, no strikes. This one hit to the pitcher, so Not too bad of an out there. And that's how we'll start off the third inning. 1-3 by Gregor Blanco. And here is Brandon Crawford. So as I was alluding to before, and I'll wait until the first pitch. That one almost at the feet of Crawford. Fouls this one off as well. The Giants seem to have a penchant for hoarding baseball players named Brandon. Brandon Crawford, he was starting at shortstop in that game against Seattle. Brandon Belt and Brandon Hicks were out due to injury. And now Brandon Belt's back. So we're just waiting for Hicks and we can have a Brandon party. In the meantime, though, it's a 2-1 count. Giants still in search of their first hit. Won't get it there. Two balls and two strikes here to Brandon Crawford. With one out and the bases empty. Tim Hudson due up next for the first time today. Crawford puts it in play. Hit to third. And the out made 5-3. Still hitless are the Giants. So here comes Tim Hudson, the pitcher. He'll take his first cuts today. Wouldn't it just be hilarious if the first hit given up by the pitcher is to a pitcher? Hudson 2 for 42 on the season at the plate. He's walked twice, he's struck out 16 times, and he's batted in a run. 0-1 count. Another sinker in there, 1 ball, 1 strike. And this one hit. The first hit of the game from the Giants is by the pitcher. Oh, man, who'd have thunk it? But it seemed too much like right. So there it is, a single by Tim Hudson with 2 out here in the bottom of the third inning. Scott Feldman's no-hitter broken up by a fellow pitcher. So we will restart the lineup, and it's Hunter Pence coming back up to the plate. Grounded out to the pitcher his last time up. Sure, he's going to be hoping that he can do a little better than that this time. He'll take a curveball veering well outside for ball 1. He'll take the sinker. 2 balls, no strikes. Hunter Pence has been the victim of a very interesting type of taunting where fans in parks across the country, at least over the past couple of weeks, have been making signs made up of incredibly light-hearted insults. Things such as Hunter Pence prefers bats, Hunter Pence hates bacon, Hunter Pence can't parallel park. It's been very interesting. Hunter Pence is, of course, taking it in stride. He's a very interesting character, and he's done a lot of good as an everyday player for the Giants. He fouls this one off. Gonna look to advance the pitcher, who, as you can see by the speed and steal stats presented by MLB 14 The Show, is not going to do it himself. This one will line out into left field. So nothing doing there. So it'll be 4 up and 3 down to close out the 3rd inning. But at least the Giants got a hit. It's 1-0 heading into the top of the 4th. Jason Castro back up at the plate to start off the 4th inning here from San Francisco. First pitch from Hudson. Slider just veers outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Castro was an all-star in 2013. Ended that season with a .276 average, 18 home runs. Takes another fastball outside. He's on the verge for about that, a much lower slash line. He went 276, 350, 485 in 2013. He has 234, 300, 392 here in 2014. And he'll take a sinker at the knees. 2 balls, 1 strike. Winner of this game will take on the winner of the Twins and Angels. Loser will face the Padres. Regardless if the Astros win or lose, they will once again be out on the highway. Full count now to Jason Castro, who flew out. And this one hit to Panic, and he's able to make the easy play at first. Take a look at it again. Panic has had his ups and downs over there at second, but at least on this play, he's able to get the out they so sorely needed. So here's John Singleton. He singled, oddly enough, back in the first. After giving up 3 hits in the first, Hudson so far has given up only 1 in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th innings. And this one carrying to right field, and it will play off of the scoreboard over there in right. And Singleton's on with a double. And we saw Pence do that in the Seattle game, where he had to play the ball off of the wall just right. That's just great awareness of your home park by Hunter Pence. And again, that's why they appreciate him as an everyday player. So Singleton in scoring position with 1 out. Matt Dominguez struck out his first time up. He's going to see if he can bat in another run for the Astros. He won't on that pitch. 4-seamer just outside for ball 1. Another sinker outside, 2 balls, no strikes. The all-time record between the Astros and Giants, these former National League foes, is 375, 343 in favor of the Giants. And this is going all the way back to when the Astros were the Colt 45s way back in 1962. They first met May 11th in Houston, where the Astros won 7-0. Dominguez fouls that one off. Here's the 2-2. That one in the dirt, but rounded up by Posey. Full count now to Dominguez with Singleton on second and Jake Marisnick on deck. Puts this one in play, gets past Panic, rolls into the glove of Pence, and we now have runners on the corners off of the one-out single by Matt Dominguez. Here's Marisnick, first pitch he takes. There's a ball inside. Jake Marisnick, born in Tampa, went to high school in Riverside, California. Takes a sinker right over the plate. Debut July 23rd, 2013 against the Rockies. And I will say, if you go on YouTube to the Coliseum Sportsnet site and you go back far enough, there's a Marlins game where they went to Minnesota. Jake Marisnick is playing in that game as a Marlin. Just in case you want a bit of Throwback Friday. In the present, however, he's facing a 2-1 count. He has Singleton 90 feet away. He has Dominguez at first. And he's going to look to bat in a run. Takes a sinker outside, strike two. Marisnick has 2 RBIs on the year. Both of those with the Astros. It's actually quite interesting. In 6 games, he's batted in 2 runs, but in 14 games with Miami, he didn't bat in any. This one hit high left center field, playable by Blanco. Should be enough to tag up Singleton, so that is an out. And as Dominguez retreats back to first, it is 2-0 off the sacrifice fly by Jake Marisnick. So here is Gregorio Petit with just Dominguez on first now, with Singleton coming on off of the sac fly. And Petit puts this one in play, rounded up by Panic, and they out at first. So that'll do it for the inning, but not without the Astros coming away with yet another run. So it is now 2-0, heading into the bottom of the 4th. Joe Panic leading off the 4th inning. The Giants so far have only been able to muster up 1 hit against Scott Feldman. And they're going to look to change that in this inning. Over the heart of the plate, strike one. This one hit right back to the pitcher. Feldman's been on it today. Vacuums up the pitch and is able to get the out at first. So without any hesitation, let's move on to the catcher, Buster Posey. Top 3 batters in the lineup have yet to get a hit. They've grounded out to the pitcher twice. So Posey's going to look for better fortunes here in his second at bat of the game. 2-1 fouled off. Sinker in there, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Posey puts this one in play, rounded up at second by Altuve. That's a 4-3 for out number 2. It's very interesting to look at the power outage by the Giants. The only hit that they have gotten through 3 2/3 is from the pitcher. We'll see if Pablo Sandoval can change that here with 2 out in the bottom of the 4th. And now here's the thing is that maybe it's not that surprising that the Giants haven't been able to generate any offense. At least to an extent. You'd figure they'd have more than 1 hit at this juncture. But they weren't able to get much off of Hisashi Iwakuma in that Seattle game either. It just so happened that the pitching was for San Francisco was also up to snuff, as well as the defense. So they were able to keep the Mariners at bay. And they were able to hang on at just the right time for Morse to hit that walk-off homer. But before that homer, as this one rolls down the line foul, the Giants only had 1 run heading into extra innings. 1-2 from Feldman. And that one fouled off. This one rounded up by Feldman, and another 1-3. Scott Feldman's been doing it all today. He's been pitching a gem, only giving up one hit, and he has been responsible for 4 separate outs throughout this game. So through 4, the Astros lead 2-0. Scott Feldman leading off the 4th inning. He's been great on the mound, but in his one time up at the plate back in the 2nd, he struck out. Top of the 5th here, and the Giants have put a pitcher or 2 in the bullpen just to be on the safe side. To Hudson's credit, he hasn't been too bad himself since giving up 3 hits back in the 1st. This one rounded up by Sandoval, and that's how we'll lead off the inning. So we will reset the lineup for the 3rd time today for the Astros. Here's Jose Altuve. Sinker in there for strike 1. Slider in there, 2 balls, 1 strike. Altuve grounded to short and hit a single back in the 3rd, but he ended up being forced out on the beginning of a double play by Robbie Grossman. Looks like it'll be another 6-3. No, it won't. He gets on just in time. And that'll attest to the speed of Jose Altuve, because a slower second baseman would have been out on that great play by Brandon Crawford. But Jose Altuve, despite his short stature, still able to pull out the long legs and reach safely. So here's Robbie Grossman. Singled in the first, stole second when he got on base back then, but then in the third he grounded into a double play. Hoping that history doesn't repeat itself here. He's going to see if he can advance Altuve. Altuve will do it himself. He'll slide in, and he's in there. Second stolen base of the game for the Astros. And this one by the usual suspect, Jose Altuve. Number one in the American League in stolen base baseball. So there he is in scoring position. If Grossman could put this one in the right spot, Altuve could probably come home. He won't swing at the sinker. Low and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sinker outside. This one fouled off. Pickoff attempt at second. And Altuve safe. And this one popped up in the center. Blanco barely has to move, but will Altuve tag up? He won't. He'll stay at second, and that's out number 2. So here's Chris Carter, left fielder. Was able to bat in the first run for the Astros back in the first, and then hit the ball so weakly that Posey was able to pick it up and retire him at first. Gonna see what he can do here. First pitch. Smacks it foul. 2 outs, man on second, and the Astros leading 2-0. They upset one Bay Area team. What's another one? Or what's another one for the ledger, that is? 1 ball, 1 strike.
Get this strike out, man!
Hudson's given up 7 hits in this game. And 2 runs. Another pickoff attempt.
Too late. He's in there.
Altuve safe. So not too far of a leadoff. We'll see if he'll try to steal third. But he doesn't on that one. Here's the 1-1. Sinker too low for ball 2. As I said before, regardless if Houston wins or loses, they will be on the road as the 8th seed. As this one's fouled off. It'll just be figuring out if they are going to Minneapolis, to Anaheim, as we'll have another pickoff attempt at second. Still going to be packing their bags for Minneapolis, for Anaheim, or for San Diego. All very nice destinations. Another pickoff attempt at second. Still safe. And Carter pops this one high in the air, playable in the center. And that is out number 3. So 2 straight flyouts to center. Strand Altuve at second. And it's still 2-0. We're halfway home. We have now entered the second half of this game. Here in the bottom of the 5th, and here's Michael Morse, who struck out his last time up. The Giants have only been able to muster up a single hit in this game. They're going to look to change their fortune. One ball and 1 strike here to Mike Morse. And he'll swing and miss on the sinker. This one fouls off. Mike Morse has bounced his way around the league. Started off with the Mariners, then with the Nationals for a while. Came back to the Mariners in 2013. Will fly this one out to center. That's out number 1. Played for Baltimore the second half of that this season, after he signed as a free agent back in December. So still 1 out, or still 1 hit, with 1 out here in the 5th, and here's Brandon Belt. The Brandons are combined 0 for 2 today. Curveball outside for ball 1. And this one, rounded up by Altuve, easy out for out number 2. So here's Gregor Blanco stepping up to the plate. He grounded out to the pitcher, 1 of 4 times that the Giants have grounded out to the pitcher in this game. It was the 2nd time, to be exact. 2 outs, bases empty here for the Giants. And there's a curveball outside for ball 1. Sinker. That one finds the zone for strike 1. Sinker inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Our camera slightly obscured by Brandon Crawford, who would be due up next if Blanco's able to reach. Check swing on the sinker. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the 2-2. Fouled off. Another one fouled off, trying to keep this inning alive. And also trying to pay it forward. The more pitches that you get Scott Feldman, who's been dealing today, to foul off, the more tired he may get down the line. Pitch number 60 runs the count full. Here's the payoff pitch. This one hit fair. Lines to Dominguez. And nothing of it. So 61 pitches in. And Scott Feldman has only given up one hit. His team is ahead 2-0. Castro, Singleton, Dominguez all due up.
Leading off for Houston, catcher, Jason Castro.
The Astros have 7 hits heading into the top of the 6th inning. And Jason Castro does not have any of them. He's 0 for 2 today. Tim Hudson at 80 pitches. The sinker is number 81 for ball 1. Hudson can't do anything about those 2 runs that he gave up. He's just going to have to make sure that he doesn't give up any more. But his tenure might just be about over in about an inning or 2. This one bounces into the crowd. Four-seamer in there, 2 balls, 1 strikes. And this one fouled back by Castro. Castro, one of my favorite tidbits about him is that he's from Castro Valley, California. And he will get his first hit of the game, the Astros' 8th, and it is a single to lead off the 6th inning.
Now batting, number 28.
So Bruce Bochy heading up to the mound. And Tim Hudson done for the day. So he goes 5 innings, strikes out 3, all of them early on, and he gives up 8 hits. So here comes the middle reliever, another veteran in his own right, Javier Lopez. Going to see if he can play damage control here and keep the Astros from scoring any more runs. He did pretty good against Seattle. Then again, there weren't a lot of runs to go around there. So John Singleton will be the first batter. That Lopez will face. Javier Lopez pitched 1 2/3 innings against Seattle. Struck out 3. Didn't give up any hits, but a runner reached on an error by Sandoval. Sidewind delivery brings the curveball in for ball 2. Lopez 1-1. On the season with a 2.10 ERA. As Singleton hits this one weakly, rounded up by Panic, who does a 360 and gets the out at first for out number 1. And yes, let's take a look at this on replay. Now, I'm guessing he did the 360 because he was unsure if he had time to throw to second and decided to throw to first. That's probably what happened there, but nice little twister move there for out number 1 as Castro does in fact advance to second. Here's Matt Dominguez. He got a single his last time up back in the 4th. Going to see if he can do it against the sidewinder Lopez. And this one hit high into left field, still carrying at the warning track and chased down by Morse for out number 2. What a hit by Dominguez. And you can't help but go through your Rolodex of parks across Major League Baseball and wonder how many of those would that hit have cleared the wall. Not in San Francisco. Center fielder Jake Marisnick, who is tasked with trying to bring Castro home from second. He's in scoring position with 2 outs. And there's the cutter. 1 ball, 1 strike. One ball, 2 strikes here. Castro on second, hoping to come home. Gonna have to wait another pitch as Lopez throws that one outside for ball 2. 2-2. Runner on second, 2 outs. That's usually something that they like to call deuces wild in baseball lexicon. And Marisnick is gonna hope to get on base here. Struck out and hit a sac fly, so he does have a RBI to his name. This one down the line, it will be a RBI single for Jake Marisnick as Castro has enough space to come home. It is 3-0 in favor of the Astros.
Now batting, number 3.
And just tight roping. And if you're a defender or a fan of a team on defense, you hate those just tight roping down the third base line. But Astros fans and the Astros love it very much, as that will give them a 3-0 cushion. Marisnick's on first. Here's Gregorio Petit, looking to see if he can keep the party going. The pitcher spot is due up next as this one's fouled off. I guess there wouldn't be much reason for Feldman to come out just yet. Pickoff attempt at first. He's good to go. This one will roll foul very weakly up to the Giants bullpen. That run that Castro brought in is the responsibility of Hudson. So Tim Hudson has given up 3 runs. Lopez still in the clear for now. But we'll see if he can get out of the inning on the 0-2. Four-seamer too low for ball 1. And Marisnick going for it on 1 and 2. Morse misses on the diving play, so Marisnick is going to come home, and that run is the responsibility of Lopez, as it is an RBI double by Gregorio Petit.
Now batting, the pitcher, Scott Feldman.
That'll make it 4-0 in favor of the Astros, and here's the pitcher, Scott Feldman. Struck out in the second, grounded out in the 5th, but can he add insult to injury here for the Giants pitching staff? Two-seamer in there for strike 1. 3 hits surrendered by the Giants between Hudson and Lopez. 1 for Hudson, that's why he's out now. And Lopez has given up 2 consecutive And that four-seamer just flew too high. 1-1 strike. Not sure where that one was going. And that one in the dirt. But Posey able to round it up. This one hit to short, and Crawford's able to make the out. So 2 runs come in for the Astros, and they now have a good cushion heading into the bottom of the 6th. It's 4-0. And here's the man who made the last put out, Brandon Crawford. I want to give you the hitting stats for Scott Feldman just in case that was the last time that we saw him. Of course, as an American League pitcher, a lot. He's 0 for 2 on the 2014 season. Both of those plate appearances, he struck out. He's only played 15 games as a National League pitcher as the sinker's in there for ball 1. Feldman's still in the game. Played 15 games as a National League pitcher when he pitched for the Cubs in 2013. He went 6 for 34 at the plate, including 2 doubles and a home run for a total of 8 RBIs, but he did also have 12 strikeouts. So he's not bad with the bat. He is not out of place when he steps up to the plate, even though he spent much of his career in the American League. He is 0 for 3 today, and you have to wonder if that was his last at-bat or if he'll keep going. And, I mean, why wouldn't he? He's done so well today. He's only given up 1 hit. Crawford looking to change that. Fly out to center, and under that is Marisnick. Only the second put out today for Marisnick. He hasn't had to do much. No reason for theatrics. Like Kike Hernandez against Oakland. And so we come to the pitcher's spot. And here's Joaquin Arias coming in to pinch hit. So Lopez is done. And we'll see who the Giants will bring in. First pitch to Arias is a ball. Here's the 2-0. Joaquin swings on this one. This one's traveling out to center as well. And there's another out there for Jake Marisnick. So still no diving plays, nothing to be chased down, but still, you need crucial outs like that. 2 up, 2 down. And Arias unable to come through in his only appearance. So that'll bring up Hunter Pence to restart the lineup. Like a lot of his Giants brethren, he's 0 for 2. First pitch in there, strike 1. Cutter veers high and inside. One ball, 1 strike. Check swing inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Hunter Pence. This one hit weakly, collected by Singleton, and he cannot get the out by himself in time. Pence able to leg it out. So you can't fault Singleton for trying to round up the ball, but nobody was there to cover first, and Singleton was not able. And here's Joe Panic, going to see if he can get something going. That's the second hit by the Giants. And they're going to need more of those moving forward. They are down 4 runs here in the bottom of the 6th. Hunter Pence went 2 for 5 against the Mariners, a single and a double. And on the double, in that 5th inning, he was able to eventually come home and score. No balls, 2 strikes here to Joe Panic. We'll see if Feldman is just going to put him down in 3 strikes, or if he's going to give it a little more time. Panic hits this one, sailing into right field. Looks playable, it is. Looked good there for a moment, but eventually it ends up in play, and the out made by Grossman. So one more hit for the Giants, but nothing more. We head to the top of the 7th, 4-0 in favor of Houston. Welcome back to San Francisco. We're heading into the final third of the game. The Astros leading 4-0, especially after getting 2 hits back in the 6th. We'll see if they can get any more insurance moving forward. And so here's Gene Machi coming into the game. Lopez gave up 1 earned run himself, and he gave up 2 hits in that 6th. 3 hits in that 6th inning for San Francisco. Machi's going to look to do a little bit better. First opponent he faces is Jose Altuve. Altuve 2 for 3 today. Singled in the 3rd, singled in the 5th. Grounded out to short in the 1st. This one sails into right field, playable for Pence over there in the corner for out number 1. So make that a 2 for 4 day for Altuve. And that's 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Here's Robbie Grossman, the right fielder, up at the plate. That one fouled off. It has been absolutely amazing just watching these games in this double elimination portion of the tournament. If you need a refresher on the format, you have 2 separate regions, the Eastern region, the Western region, both double elimination formats. The winners of those pools will face off in a best-of-5 series. But in this double elimination format, where it's essentially 1 and you're done, but you get 1 more chance, as Grossman's hit by a pitch by Machi, so he will take his base. It's really just been unbelievable to see how these lower seeds have just come out and played. Of the 13 games that have been completed so far in the Coliseum baseball tournament, the higher seed has won only 5. The lower seed is 8-5 in the Coliseum baseball tournament. Carter smacks this one into the gap in left field, and that'll advance Grossman to second, and Carter's on with his 2nd single of the game. We'll take a look again on the replay. Machi thought he found a good, essentially swings at anything. He's tops in the leagues in strikeouts. He's able to make contact and put it in the gap. So here's Jason Castro, who finally reached base back in the 6th to lead off the 6th with a single. He eventually came home on a run charge to Hudson. And here's a look at the team hits off of the Carter single. The Astros have 11. The Giants 2. This one put in play. Rounded up by Sandoval. 5, 4, 3 double play to close out the inning. So Castro grounds out into a double play. Won't be any runs here. And Machi's able to get out of the inning. It's still 4-0. Stretch, people. You're watching the Coliseum Baseball Tournament on the Coliseum Sports Network. Hope you got some good stretches there in. Hope you got some good stretches in there in the middle of the 7th. We head to the bottom of the 7th, and the home team is losing 4-0. Feldman, a part of his 5th putout in this game, another 1-3, and that'll lead off the 7th. Posey goes down quickly. Five fielding assists by Scott Feldman. He's just looking to get as far as he can in this game. If he pitches well enough and does quick enough work here in the final stretch of the game, he could end up with a complete game. We've only seen one so far. That was R.A. Dickey on the road against Pittsburgh in a 6-1 victory. That same Blue Jays lineup that took care of business against Pittsburgh did not show up at home against the Cubs, as the Cubs shellacked them 8-3. Not exactly the same scale of what the Astros are doing here, as that splitter is in there, 1 ball, 1 strike. But still pretty confounding nonetheless. As the number 8 seed out of the Western region is hoping to make it win number 9 in this tournament for lower seeds. This one in play, rounded up by Altuve, and you know he's got it. Sandoval out 4-3 for out number 2. Scott Feldman, just now, 6 2/3 innings into the game, has reached 80 pitches. So not even 100. He's still at 80. Been a very efficient game. He's only given up 2 hits in his entire outing. First pitch in there for a strike. Base is empty. 2 outs. Singleton, Dominguez, and Marisnik due up in the opening, or in the next half inning in the 8th, which will happen right now as Morse pops up to the catcher in foul territory. 4-0 in favor of the Astros heading into the top of the 8th. As I said before, John Singleton leading off for the Astros, who lead 4-0, taking on Gene Machi. The Astros are going to look for even more insurance than they already have, because you can never get enough hits. Four-seamer in there, strike 2. Singleton started off the game on fire. He hit a single in the 1st and a double in the 4th, but he grounded to second back in the 6th, and he has to move out of the way on the slider here in the 8th. Singleton fouls off the 1-2. And the splitter gets him. Out number 1 on the strikeout by Gene Machi. So the Long Beach native will head back to the dugout empty-handed. He's 2 for 4 on the day. And that will bring up Matt Dominguez. He's 1 for 3. That one hit coming off of a single back in the 4th. Four-seamer in there for strike 1. Matt Dominguez, himself a Californian as well, but not from this side of the state. He's from Van Nuys, went to high school in Chatsworth, so he's a San Fernando Valley kid. Drafted in 2007 by the Marlins. Came to Houston in 2012, so he was traded with Rob Rasmussen to the Astros for Carlos Lee. Splitter outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Giants fans not happy with that call. 1 out, bases empty here in the count to Matt Dominguez, the third baseman. Inner half of the plate for strike 2. Swing and a miss on the splitter. Down on strikes. 2 straight strikeouts for Gene Machi. So after he gave up a hit and hit a batter before eventually forcing another Astro to ground into a double play, now Machi's come out dealing 2 straight strikeouts, and he could get 1 more here with Jake Marisnick. First pitch, a 4-seamer inside. Crowd cheering as the umpire calls it in Gene's favor. Gene Machi from Venezuela. This one hit, rounded up by Crawford. Can he get the 6-3? He cannot. And the inning will stay alive. Marisnick showing off the speed. He has 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and a strikeout on the day. So quite the day for one of the newest Astros, and here's Gregorio Petit. Four-seamer in there for strike 1, and so much for the first 3-up, 3-down inning for the Astros, or for the Giants pitchers, since the 2nd inning. That was the only one of the game. Tim Hudson had 2 strikeouts in that one that bookended the inning. But in the meantime here, Gregorio Petit looking to keep the inning alive. He hit an RBI double back in the 6th. That was another one off. No balls, 2 strikes. And this one fouled off as well. Gene Machi from Venezuela signed as an amateur free agent in 2000, and he hung around there, finally debuting in 2012 with the Giants. Four-seamer in there and 3 strikeouts. This one a backwards K, and there's a look at McCovey Cove as we head to break. Nothing for them now, but the game's not over yet. It's Blanco and Crawford all due up, followed by the pitcher spot here in the 8th inning. That pitcher spot batting cleanup. We'll see if the Giants can get any more hits. They've been hard to come by. Scott Feldman still up at the mound. Sinker in there for strike 1. 2 hits. That's as much as Feldman has conceded to the Giants. 2 hits. Fouls that off, and Belt's already in the hole. 0-2. Kick and delivery. That one in the dirt, drop strike. Going to have to complete the strikeout at first, and that's exactly what Castro does. So a strikeout on the drop third strike, and that's out number one. Scott Feldman, only 85 pitches. 7 1/3 of the way into this game. He could go complete. That would only be the second one in this entire tournament. Here comes Gregor Blanco. 0 for 2. Grounded to Feldman back in the third. Grounded to the third baseman back in the fifth. His name is escaping me for no reason. Matt Dominguez. He grounded out to Dominguez back in the fifth. It hasn't even been that long of a game. I'm already losing memory of who's out in the field. First pitch in there for a strike, 0-1 to Gregor Blanco. The 2 hit that Feldman has given up is the fewest that he's given up in 2014 since June 7th when the Astros were on the road against Minnesota. He gave up only 1 in that game. He pitched only an inning and 2/3 though, so there's that. Thing is, he only gave up 1 hit. He gave up 3 runs, none of them earned. So in terms of hits, that was a good game. He only gave up 1, but that was a bad game as well. But the last full start, where he gave up 2 hits or fewer, was way back April 11th at Texas. He went 7 innings in a 0-1 loss. He didn't give up the run. Only gave up 2 hits and struck out 3. But he also hit 2 batters in the process. Ouch. This one lined down the right field line in the diving catch. Let's get another look at that one. And Grossman had to dive out just a little bit there to get that out. And so only 2 hits still. Feldman probably having his best game of the year. I think we could venture that. I don't think that's too far out of the realm of possibility. So here's Brandon Crawford. He's going to see if he can keep the inning alive. If he can, the pitcher spot is due up next. Machi is in that spot, but I'm pretty sure at this juncture of the game he would not come out to bat. Arias already came in the 6th, so you're going to have to find new blood there. Swing and a miss on the sinker. 92 pitches for Scott Feldman, looking to close out the 8th inning here. He's got him through 7 2/3, no problem. And here's the pitch. That one in the dirt. 2 balls, 1 strike. And the 2-1. That one outside. Crawford thought for a millisecond to swing, but thought better of it. 3 balls, 1 strike. And the 3-1. Fouled off. Count full. Between both Brandon's Belt and Crawford. Crawford hoping it's not strikeout number 2 here. Here's the payoff pitch again. Put this one in play, but lines out to Petit it short. So another 3-up, 3-down inning, and it has been a heck of a game for Scott Feldman. So we head to the top of the 9th. The Astros ahead 4-0.
Your attention, please. Bench hitting for the Astros, number 0, L.J. Cole.
And so as soon as Feldman goes 3 up, 3 down, his day is done. Here is LJ Hose. And the first pitch to LJ in there for a ball. Pops this one down the right field line. Hose, a Washington, D.C. native, originally came up in the Orioles organization. Excuse me, swing it to out number 1. So here's Jose Altuve, 2 for 4 today, getting one more chance up at the plate. He'll take a strike. Machi, 2 1/3 innings of work, looking to just close out the game here for the Giants. Fastball right down the heart of the plate for strike 2. Altuve puts this one in play as it bounces into center field. He is on with a 1-out single. So he is now 3 for 5 on the day. What a day it has been for Jose Altuve and the Houston Astros. 13 hits. Lucky number 13 for the Astros. And here's Robbie Grossman, who made an unbelievable catch back in the 8th inning. He has one single. Then he grounded into a double play, flew out, and was hit by a pitch back in the 7th. So it's been an adventure today for Robbie Grossman, but if the Astros can hang on, it will all have been worth it. Four-seamer inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Grossman born in San Diego, so Californian by blood, but he grew up in the Houston area, went to high school in Cypress, Texas, right next to Houston. I believe it's unincorporated, actually, as Altuve goes for second, slides in, and that's his second stolen base of the game. First one since the 5th, and the 3rd one overall for the Astros. So the AL's lead base stealer doesn't just take 1 today, he takes 2. Now we'll see if Grossman can bring him in. Grossman stole the first base of the game for the Astros and eventually came home on the RBI single by Chris Carter. Let's see if he can return the favor here at the end of the game. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Altuve on second. Here's the pitch to Grossman. Hits this one to right field. Pence is under it. Altuve will tag up, and he will be into third standing up. That is out number 2. With Altuve 90 feet away. So here's Chris Carter. 2 singles. 1 in the first, 1 in the 7th. That single in the first brought in a run. Let's see if he can do it again here. Pitch from Machi. Splitter. Taken for strike 1. Chris Carter, born in the area, born in Redwood City, but went to high school in Las Vegas. So another West Coaster here for the Astros. And the slider strikes out Carter. So Altuve stranded on third. But the Astros still have a pretty big lead, 4-0, heading into the bottom of the ninth.
Your attention, please. Now pitching for the Astros, number 55.
So with Feldman coming out, not batting in the ninth, time for a new pitcher. Here's Jose Veras.
Your attention, please. Been hitting for the Giants, number 45.
And since the pitcher for the Giants, we don't want that, says Bruce Bochy, and he'll bring in another pinch hitter. Here's Travis Ishikawa. So new everything here. Jose Veras, the new pitcher, throws a curveball outside for ball one. Travis Ishikawa is born in Seattle, went to high school in suburban Federal Way, but he's been in the Giants system, or was drafted into it back in 2002. Fouls this one off. Played for the Giants until 2011, where he signed some free agent contracts with the Brewers, with the Orioles. Was claimed off waivers by the Yankees, played in the White Sox organization, played in the Pirates organization, before eventually coming back to the Giants, signing as a free agent back in April. He spent most of his time down in Fresno, but he has played 8 games for the Giants, where he's 1 for 5. Won't get anything out of it here. His lone at bat, he strikes out for out number 1. So here is Hunter Pence to restart the lineup for the 4th, quite possibly the final time in this game. Sinker just outside for ball 1. Jose Veras, native of the Dominican Republic. He's been a professional since 1998, didn't debut until 2006. He's 1-0 on the season with the Astros with a 3.38 ERA. This one hit just over the glove of Singleton, rolls into right field, and Pence is on with a 1-out single. So Veras gives up a hit after striking out the leadoff hitter. And here's Joe Panik up at the plate, 0 for 3 today. Last time up in the 6th, he flew out to right. Jose Veras started the year with the Cubs, signed a free agent deal with them just before New Year's. Ooh, that sinker veers inside for ball 1. Veras was eventually released back in June. And he was picked up by the Astros. So he's been with them ever since. Looking to close things out here against the Giants and send the Astros into the winner bracket. Diving catch by Dominguez, and he can get out number 2 at first. So Pence advances to second. He's in scoring position. So there's a minute chance for a rally to get started here with Pence in scoring position. We'll see if Buster Posey can get the party started, but it's 2 outs with a man on second here in the bottom of the 9th. Down to the final batter of the Giants. If they lose, they will be hosting the San Diego Padres. And the Astros will be on their way to either Minneapolis or Anaheim. The 1-0. Sinker inside. Umpire calls it a strike, inner half of the plate. Posey fouls it off. Down to the last strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pence on second with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. Can the Giants get something going? Fouls that one back. The Giants have only been able to muster up 3 hits total. Posey gets this one airborne. Looks playable in left, and Hose is able to close things out. Actually, that's Carter over there in left, but all the same, the Astros get the win in the 8th seed, just like the 8th seed in the East, able to upset a favorite opponent. And they'll move on to the 3rd round without a loss. Just an unbelievable pitching performance by Feldman. A shame he didn't go all 9. But you really just have to work in the confines of what you got. So here's a look at the summary. Houston, 13 hits, came out with 4 runs. San Francisco only able to muster up 3. Scott Feldman, of course, getting the win. Tim Hudson going to come up with the loss. And so we'll take a look at the top player of the game here. And who else would it be? Scott Feldman. 8 innings pitched, only giving up 2 hits, and striking out 2. It was just a matter of getting the hitters to ground out and to just manage the game. You don't always need strikeouts to put the hitters away. And Scott Feldman embodying that, having a great game. He's the top player of the game. So that will do it for this presentation of the Coliseum Baseball Tournament on the Coliseum Sports Network. This has been presented by SimsColiseum.com, so be sure to like this video and subscribe to the Coliseum Sports Network on YouTube, and also be sure to follow Sims Coliseum on Twitter, Facebook, and Tumblr. So that's a wrap from San Francisco. It was a good one, to be sure. The Astros win it 4-0 and advance to the 3rd round. I'm Raymond Sims. Thank you for watching.